What's up, guys? Husik here. I'm going to talk you through what you need to do today for Sophomore ET. Sophomore ET is going to be all about jobs and job prep so that when you get into junior and senior year and you're working on internships, you have a way better idea of what things appeal to you. So you're going to see a lot of different jobs this year. Some you're going to really like, some you might not like. And either way, we think that's good. If you like it, think about that as an internship or a possible career in the future. And if you don't like it, you can take that one off the list. And that's actually super helpful because having things that you know you're not interested in is as good as having things that you are interested in. So after you got the classroom code, you're on classroom and you're going to see a couple things on there that are going to be super helpful for you. One is going to be the link for the MATC career test that we're going to take today. And the other link that's on there is, or the other assignment that's on there, excuse me, is going to be the career assessment presentation. So you're going to make a presentation about the work that you're doing in ET today that you're going to present in a couple weeks after the pack draft during September. So the instructions for what to do are all right here, and you can read through those on your own. I'm going to give you kind of a Cliff Notes quick version of how that's going to look. So the first thing you need to do is sign in to the MATC career assessment that we looked at on the first part. So I'm going to go back to that main slide, and it may help for you to have two tabs open when you do this. But when I click on that link, it opens up the tab. If I go back, then I can look at the instructions and they'll tell me exactly what I need to do to get to where I need to be. I open up that assessment assignment and then look at the links and follow the registration steps. All the pieces are on there and everything that you need is there to be able to create your account. Don't forget that the code that you need is Stormer. That'll be right on there. I've already created a profile for myself, so I don't need to log in. And as soon as this comes up, you'll see what we're looking at. You're going to go through and take the different tests that are available. So when it asks me all this stuff, I'm just going to say, let me log in. And it'll log me in. Once I'm in there, I've taken all 5 of the assessments already. You're going to go through and you're going to take the 5 assessments. I want you to do your best, take time, and do a really good job. The better that you do on those tests and the more accurate information that you have, the better it'll be for your results. We'd love to get accurate results and not waste your time. I think that this is a really good assessment. I took it as if I was an incoming college student right now, and all the things that it said about me were jobs as an education professional, a teacher or an administrator or principal at a school. So I thought it was pretty accurate, at least for me. And I think if you do a good job of taking it really serious, it'll be really accurate for you. There's 5 tests that you're going to take: work interest assessment, the personality assessment, the leisure assessment. That's about like things you like to do for fun, the values assessment, and the skills assessment. When you're finished with those, which should take you about 40 minutes, probably 7 or 8 minutes per test. Take your time, think about the questions. If you need help with the answers, do that. Make sure you can save your username and password somewhere so that you don't forget them. The other thing that you're going to do after you've done those is you're going to start looking at some of the information that's available for you on there. So you can read the instructions, but here's some of the things for step 3, reviewing your work interest. You go back to the portfolio and in work interests. When I click on results, it shows me a 3-letter code called a Holland code. That's kind of the core things about your personality. So for instance, for me, those codes are S, I, and E: social, investigative, and enterprising. You can read about, and you should read about, those 3 parts down here, because those are going to be things that go into your presentation. What we're building in this presentation is going to be some things that talk about us. So the first thing that you need to include is your name on there. And then you can follow along. This example is on the assignment on Classroom. I put my first letter, S for social, and I just copied and pasted into here, make it look nice after you copy and paste it. My second one is investigative, and my third one, enterprising. You'll see that I put a box in each of these corners. You do that by going up here and clicking on the shapes. You click a square. You put a square on your paper. And then once I've done that, I changed the color up here, and I changed mine to green because I thought that this enterprising was a very good fit for me. If I thought it was like an okay fit, you change it to yellow. And if I thought for some reason that this was way off, maybe because I didn't do a good job taking the test, maybe I didn't understand, or maybe I rushed, I would change it to red. You don't need all three, you just need one. So I'm going to get rid of these two because I thought enterprising was a good fit. On every slide where it's a test result, I want you to create that box. And again, you do that by clicking on shapes, creating the shape, and then changing the fill color with the paint bucket to either green, yellow, or red. So my letters are on there, and then my overall personality type, which you find from the personality quiz. Next thing you do is you take the personality quiz. You click on this link and it'll open up a website that gives you another test. This one's all about personality. And I went in and I already took that test and completed. And so it brought me to the 16 personalities assessment. Once you finish that, it gives you a whole bunch of information about that personality type. I brought that information into my presentation. So it'll give you your percentages. It will give you your overall personality type right here. And then I went back to the MATC portal, and you can get all these instructions right here. After you've done the personality quiz, here's the thing that you need to fill out. As you build your presentations, you're going to go through the MATC portal, and you're going to go back to that home screen, and you do that by clicking home. Once you do that, it says click on the arrow for combined assessment, and you find that right here in the bottom corner where you can put these results all together to get the best possible picture. Click on that arrow and then choose two. The two that we're going to choose are work interests and personality, and then click continue. You can play around with some of those other buttons on your own time, but for these results, you click on those, and then we want to see the jobs that you get suggested. And on my presentation, there were two jobs I copied and pasted: instructional coordinators and special education administrators. And those came from right here. You may have more jobs than that. You may have less jobs than that. You might only have one. You may have three. If you have three, post them all. Then I added, what is the education at MATC that's available? So I could study business administration, or I could study early childhood at MATC. And I got those from right here. Early childhood or business administration are things you could study at MATC to help you move towards that. It also gives you an idea of salaries and what some of the things are related to those jobs. If I added in another thing, like let's say leisure skills, see if it changes my results. Now it gives me 3 occupations, and they're different. So depending on what things you want to focus on for your career, they'll give you different options. This one's the same, but this one is a new one that got added in because I added in things that are leisure interests. We're going to focus just on work interests work interests, and personalities for this presentation. If I click on one of those and open that up, like it says in the instructions, if I click on one of those occupations, then I can read through and get the details about what is it like to do that job? What are some things that I can learn about this job, about being an instructional coordinator? And I took that information from right here, which tells me a little bit about the job, and it tells me a little bit about the education. What I'm going to do is take those highlights before I read about it, and I'm going to add those onto a slide. And on that slide, it said instructional coordinator. Then I added the occupation overview. That's the sentence or two that comes from right here. And then this next sentence tells me I need a bachelor's degree from a 4-year college. And I put that in a section called education right here. The last thing I did was make a space called fit. And that's, do I think this is a good fit for me? And you need a sentence or two describing why you think this is a good fit for you. So I said, I think this is a good fit for me because it's kind of like what I'm already doing. I did that after I read through the job tasks. I looked at how it aligned with my work interests. I looked at some of the skills that are important. And I looked at the values and work conditions and education requirements. Read through that, do a little bit of research, learn a little bit about what that job is like before you decide if it's a good fit for you or not. You're going to do that with both jobs and put those in your presentation. Feel free to have my presentation open while you're building yours, because that will help you prepare your presentation. There's also a spot on MATC where you can get a little bit of information about what kind of occupations may be best for you. And that's where this personality type information came from. I go to the personality results on the dashboard. And in the personality results, it tells me a little bit about how I approach work. That can be copied and pasted into the slide about my personality. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullet points. And then on the bottom, it talks about what should I think about when I'm choosing my career. Based on my test results, someone with my personality type wants to go into occupations where I can help other people learn new skills. Go figure. That's why I became a teacher. I think this is pretty accurate. So you're going to build that presentation. You can have any backgrounds that you want, as long as they're not distracting. You want to be able to present this well when you get into the presentations in a couple of weeks. If you work diligently, you probably can finish the majority of this in class today. Best of luck. Your instructor or your section leader is there to help you. If you have any questions or anything that you get stuck on, remember to do the very best you can. The better that you do, the better these results will be. The better the results will be, the better your job matches are, and the more it'll give you to think about. Thanks, guys.